Dear friends, I am Dr. Santosh Desai and I welcome you all to my YouTube channel Engineering Mathematics. In this video, we will learn linear differential equation with constant coefficient of order n, the operator capital D, theorems on solution of differential equation and rules to find complementary function. So we start with linear differential equation with constant coefficient of order n. An equation of the form d raised to n y by dx raised to n plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 y by dx raised to n minus 1 plus and so on plus an minus 1 into dy by dx plus an y is equal to x, where a1, a2 and so on an are constants and x is either function of x or constant, is called linear differential equation with constant coefficient of order n. Now here one can verify whether this equation 1 is linear or not by using definition of linear differential equation. So the definition is given at the bottom of the screen. Now here we note that if capital X is equal to 0 for all x, then the equation 1 is called homogeneous, and if x is not equal to 0, then it is called non-homogeneous equation. Now we consider the operator capital D. Let us introduce the differential operator capital D is equal to d by dx. So thus we get dy by dx is equal to capital D into y, and therefore d2y by dx square is equal to d square y. So continuing in this way, we get d raised to n y by dx raised to n is equal to capital D raised to n into y. Now substitute these values in equation 1. So let us consider equation 1. The equation 1 is given at the bottom of the screen. So the first term of equation 1 we get capital D raised to n y plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 into y plus a2 d raised to n minus 2 into y plus and so on an minus 1 into dy plus an y is equal to capital X. Now we simplify this equation. First I take y common and rewrite the remaining terms as it is. So we get second step. Now in this second step, the bracketed term is a function of d. So therefore I replace this bracketed term by f of d. So I get f of d of y is equal to capital X, where this f of d is bracketed quantity, that is d raised to n plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 plus a2 d raised to n minus 2 plus and so on plus an minus 1 into d plus an, that is f of d is a polynomial in d. The equation f of d of y is equal to x is called symbolic form of equation 1. So henceforth f of d of y is equal to x represents linear differential equation with constant coefficient of order n. Now we consider some theorems on solutions of differential equations. So the first one, if y is equal to y1, y is equal to y2 and so on, y is equal to yn are n linearly independent solutions of the differential equation dny plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 into y plus a2 d raised to n minus 2 into y plus and so on plus an minus 1 into dy plus an y is equal to 0, then u equal to c1y1 plus c2y2 plus c3y3 plus and so on plus cnyn is also its solution, where c1, c2 and so on cn are arbitrary constants. In another language, one can say linear combination of linearly independent solutions of the differential equation is again solution of that equation. Now let us prove this theorem. So for the proof, consider the given equation as d raised to n y plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 y plus and so on plus an minus 1 dy plus an y is equal to 0. This is given equation and call this equation as 1. Now it is given that y is equal to y1, y is equal to y2 and so on, y is equal to yn are solutions of equation 1. So as y is equal to y1 is the solution, so y1 must satisfy equation 1. So therefore we get d raised to n y1 plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 y1 plus a2 d raised to n minus 2 y1 plus and so on plus an minus 1 dy1 plus an y1 is equal to 0. Similarly, y is equal to y2 is also solution of equation 1. So therefore y2 also satisfies equation 1. So thus we get this second line. Similarly, continuing in this way, y is equal to yn is also solution. So therefore yn also satisfies the equation 1. So thus we get d raised to n yn plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 yn plus and so on plus a n minus 1 dyn plus an yn is equal to 0. Now to show u is equal to c1 y1 plus c2 y2 plus c3 y3 and so on cn yn is solution of equation 1, we have to show u satisfies equation 1. That is, we have to prove d raised to n u plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 u plus a2 d raised to n minus 2 u plus and so on plus an minus 1 du plus an u is equal to 0. Now to prove this, let us consider the LHS part. So consider d raised to n u plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 u plus a2 d raised to n minus 2 u plus and so on plus an minus 1 du plus an u. Now we know that u is equal to c1 y1 plus c2 y2 and so on cn yn. So substituting the values of u in each term we get. So thus first term is d raised to n into bracket c1 y1 plus c2 y2 plus c3 y3 plus and so on cn yn plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 into value of u plus again a2 d raised to n minus 2, again we are putting the value of u and continuing in this way, the last term is an into bracket again the value of u. Now if you observe first term of each bracket, in the first term of each bracket c1 is constant. So after taking c1 constant, we will get first term as c1 into bracket d raised to n y1 plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 y1 plus and so on an minus 1 dy1 plus an y1. Now similarly from the second term, one can take c2 as constant. So thus we get c2 into bracket remaining term and plus c3 again remaining term and so on. Last term is cn into bracket d raised to n y1 plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 yn plus and so on an yn. Now the values of bracketed terms are 0 because y1 is the solution of equation 1. So therefore from the previous one can write the values of these bracketed terms as zeros. So therefore we get c1 0 plus c2 0 plus c3 0 plus and so on cn 0 and we get this is equal to 0. So this shows that u is equal to c1 y1 c2 y2 and so on cn yn satisfies the equation and hence it is solution of equation 1. Now we consider another one theorem. If y is equal to u is complete solution of f of d of y is equal to 0 and y is equal to v is a particular solution. Particular means containing no arbitrary constants of the equation f of d of y is equal to x, then the complete solution of the equation f of d of y is equal to x is y is equal to u plus v. So here two solutions are given. So first solution is obtained from f of d of y is equal to 0, that is taking RHS is equal to 0, and the second solution which is free from arbitrary constants which is obtained from f of d of y is equal to x, and we have to show the combination or the sum of these two solution is again solution of the equation. Now for this So here it is given that y is equal to u is the complete solution of equation f of d of y is equal to 0. So therefore u must satisfy this equation. So thus we get f of d of u is equal to 0. Again it is given that y is equal to v is particular solution of equation f of d of y is equal to x. So therefore v also satisfies this equation. So thus we get f of d of v is equal to x. Now to show y is equal to u plus v is complete solution of f of d of y is equal to x. So let us consider f of d of y is equal to. Then we put the value of y. So we get f of d into bracket u plus v. Now by using linearity property, we get f of d of u plus f of d v. But we know that f of du is equal to 0 and f of dv is equal to capital X. So therefore we get 0 plus x and this is equal to capital X. So this shows that y is equal to u plus v is a solution of equation f of d of y is equal to x. Now we have to conclude this we have to conclude y equal to u plus v is complete solution. And we know the condition for complete solution, that is number of arbitrary constants is equal to order of the equation. Now here we claim that the y is equal to u plus v contains n arbitrary constants because u contains n arbitrary constants because it is a complete solution, and v is a particular solution which is free from arbitrary constant, and therefore u plus v also contains n arbitrary constant. Hence y equal to u plus v is complete solution of f of d of y is equal to x. Now the solution of f of d of y equal to 0, that is y equal to u, has some specific name, and also the solution y is equal to v of the equation f of d of y equal to x has also some specific name. So let us consider these as a note. The part y equal to u is called complementary function and will be obtained from f of d of y equal to 0. And the part y equal to v is called particular integral and will be obtained from f of d of y is equal to x. So once we obtain the complementary function and particular integral, then the complete solution of the equation f of d of y equal to x is given by y is equal to cf plus pi. To solve the equation f of d of y is equal to x, first we find cf from f of d of y equal to 0, and then we find particular integral from the equation f of d of y is equal to x. Now let us consider how to find the complementary function for the given equation. So let us consider the equation d raised to n plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 plus a2 d raised to n minus 2 and so on an minus 1d plus an bracket complete y is equal to 0, where a1, a2 and so on an are constants. Here note that d raised to n plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 plus and so on plus an minus 1 into d plus an is polynomial in d of degree n. So therefore, by fundamental theorem of algebra, the equation d raised to n plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 and so on plus an is equal to 0 has exactly n roots. So let us consider m1, m2 and so on mn be the n roots of equation 2. Now the equation 2 is called auxiliary equation. Now the complementary function of the equation depends upon the nature of the roots of the auxiliary equation. Now following are the various cases. So let us consider the first case. If all the roots of the auxiliary equations are real and distinct. If this is the case, then we will see how to write the complementary function for the given equation. So let m1, m2 and so on mn be the n roots of the auxiliary equation, and suppose that all the roots are real and distinct. Now we know that any equation can be expressed as a product of its factors. So therefore, the given equation 1 can be rewritten as d minus m1, d minus m2 and so on d minus mn into y is equal to 0. Here the equation 3 will be satisfied by the solution of the equation d minus m1y equal to 0, d minus m2y equal to 0 and so on d minus mny is equal to 0. So that is the solution of equation 3 is nothing but the solutions of these all equations. So let us consider the first one, d minus m1y is equal to 0. Now rewriting this, we will get dy by dx minus m1y is equal to 0. Now by using method of separation of variables, one can rewrite it as dy divided by y is equal to m1x. Now integrating on both sides, we get log y is equal to m1x plus log c1, where log c1 is integration constant. And on simplifying, we will get y is equal to c1 e raised to m1x. So therefore, the solution of d minus m1y is equal to 0 is y is equal to c1 e raised to m1x. Similarly, one can obtain the solutions of d minus m2y equal to 0 and so on d minus mny equal to 0. And therefore, the solution of d minus m2y is equal to 0 is y is equal to c2 e raised to m2x. Solution of d minus m3y is equal to 0 is y is equal to c3 e raised to m3x and so on. Solution of d minus mny is equal to 0 is y is equal to cn e raised to mnx. Then by previous theorem, the complete solution of equation 1 is y is equal to c1 e raised to m1x plus c2 e raised to m2x plus and so on plus cn e raised to mnx. Now we consider case 2. If two roots of the auxiliary equations are real and equal and remaining all the roots are again real and distinct. So let us consider m1 is equal to m2 and remaining m3, m4 are roots of equation 2, that is auxiliary equation. Then the equation 1 can be again rewritten as d minus m1 into d minus m1, d minus m2 and so on d minus mn y is equal to 0. Now again here the solution of this equation is nothing but the solutions of d minus m1 into d minus m1y equal to 0, d minus m2y equal to 0 and so on d minus mny equal to 0. Now from the previous cases, we know the solution of d minus m2y equal to 0, d minus m3y equal to 0 and so on d minus mny equal to 0. So here we find solution of d minus m1 into d minus m1y equal to 0. So let us take d minus m1y is equal to v. Then the above equation reduces to d minus m1v is equal to 0. Now from the previous case or again by using separation of variables, we get solution of this equation as phi is equal to c1 e raised to m1x. Now putting these values, putting the value of phi in above equation, we get d minus m1y is equal to c1 e raised to m1x. One can rewrite this equation as dy by dx minus m1y is equal to c1 e raised to m1x. Now this is a linear differential equation of the form dy by dx plus py is equal to q. And we know how to simplify an equation of the form dy by dx plus py is equal to q. To simplify such a equations, we need complementary function first. So therefore, the complementary function is, we need integrating factor and therefore the integrating factor is equal to e raised to integration of minus m1 into dx. So that is equal to e raised to minus m1x. And once you know the integrating factor, the complete solution of equation is y into integrating factor is equal to integration of integrating factor into c1 e raised to m1x dx plus c2. Now we substitute the value of integrating factor, so we get new equation, and then we simplify this equation. So that is by cancelling the terms e raised to minus m1x with e raised to m1x, we simply remains with c1 dx plus c2. Now integrating this, we get c1x plus c2, and from this relation the value of y is c1x plus c2 e raised to m1x. Now here we know the solution of d minus m1 into d minus m1 y, and from the previous cases the solutions of d minus m3y equal to 0 is y is equal to c3 e raised to m3x, d minus m4y equal to 0 is y equal to c3 e raised to m4x. Continuing in this way, the solution of d minus mn y equal to 0 is y equal to cn e raised to mn x. Now here we know all the solutions, then the complete solution is nothing but the linear combination of these solutions. So thus the complete solution of equation 1 is y equal to c1x plus c2 e raised to m1x plus c3 e raised to m3x plus and so on plus cn e raised to mnx. Now here we note that when two roots are repeated, we are getting the term c1x plus c2. Now if three roots are repeated, then you have to write the solution. So for this, let us reconsider the note. Let m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m3 be the three equal roots of the auxiliary equation. Then complete solution of equation 1 is, in the previous we have seen when two roots are repeated, we need the term c1x plus c2, and now we generalize this for the three roots. So therefore the solution is y is equal to c1x square plus c2x plus c3 into e raised to m1x plus c4 e raised to m4x plus and so on cn e raised to mnx. So this is the complete solution when three roots of auxiliary equations are repeated and remaining all are real and distinct. Now we consider third case. If two roots of auxiliary equation are imaginary. So let m1 is equal to alpha plus I beta and m2 is equal to alpha minus I beta be two imaginary roots, and m3, m4 and so on mn are real and distinct roots of auxiliary equation f of d is equal to 0. Then by case 1, the complete solution of equation 1 is y is equal to c1 y is equal to a into e raised to alpha plus I beta x plus b into e raised to alpha minus I beta x plus, and remaining all are again real and distinct. So therefore we get c3 e raised to m3x plus and so on plus cn e raised to mnx. Now we simplify first two terms. Now e raised to alpha plus I beta x can be written as a into e raised to alpha x into e raised to I beta x. Similarly, plus b into e raised to alpha x into e raised to minus I beta x, and remaining terms are as it is. Now from the first two terms, e raised to alpha x is common. So therefore we get e raised to alpha x into bracket a into e raised to I beta x plus b into e raised to minus I beta x plus remaining terms are remains as it is. Now we know that e raised to I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. So by using that relation, the value of e raised to I beta x is cos beta x plus I sin beta x, and the value of e raised to minus I beta x is cos beta x minus I sin beta x. So putting these values, so we get e raised to alpha x into bracket a into bracket cos beta x plus I sin beta x plus b into bracket cos beta x minus I sin beta x plus and so on. Now simplifying these two terms. So for the simplification, let us check the first term of each bracket. Here cos beta x is constant term, and therefore we get e raised to alpha x into bracket a plus b cos beta x. And in the second term, sin beta x is constant, so we get I into bracket a minus b into sin beta x plus c3 e raised to m3x plus and so on cn e raised to mn x. Now a and b are constant, so a plus b is also constant, so we denote it by c1 and denote I into bracket a minus b by c2. So thus we get e raised to alpha x into c1 cos beta x plus c2 sin beta x plus c3 e raised to m3x plus and so on plus cn e raised to mn x. So this is the complete solution when the auxiliary equation has two imaginary roots. Now we consider last case. If two pairs of imaginary roots are equal, so let m1 is equal to m2 alpha plus I beta and m3 is equal to m4 is equal to alpha minus I beta. Then by case 2 and by case 3, the complete solution of this is y is equal to e raised to alpha x because the roots are imaginary. So first we write e raised to alpha x. Again the roots are repeated two times, so therefore we need the term c1x plus c2. So we take the complete solution as y equal to e raised to alpha x into bracket c1x plus c2 cos beta x plus c3x plus c4 sin beta x and plus c5 e raised to m5x plus and so on plus cn e raised to mn x. So these are the four cases to find the complementary function. Now let us recall or summarize all these cases. Let m1, m2 and so on mn be the roots of the equation d raised to n plus a1 d raised to n minus 1 plus a2 d raised to n minus 2 plus and so on an minus 1 d plus an is equal to 0. Then we consider the types of roots and the corresponding complete solution. So the first one, if all the roots are real and distinct, in this case the complete solution is y is equal to c1 e raised to m1x plus c2 e raised to m2x plus and so on cn e raised to mnx. Second case is if two roots m1 and m2 are repeated and remaining all are real and distinct, then the complete solution is y is equal to c1x plus c2 e raised to m1x plus c3 e raised to m3x plus and so on cn e raised to mnx. Now again, instead of 2, if 3 roots are repeated and remaining all are again real and distinct, then the complete solution is, in this case, we use the term c1x square plus c2x plus c3 e raised to m1x plus c4 e raised to m4x plus and so on cn e raised to mnx. And if two roots are imaginary, that is m1 is equal to alpha plus I beta and m2 is equal to alpha minus I beta, then the complete solution is y is equal to e raised to alpha x into bracket c1 cos beta x plus c2 sin beta x plus c3 e raised to m3x plus and so on plus cn e raised to mnx. And the last case, if pair of imaginary roots are repeated, that is m1 is equal to m2 is equal to alpha plus I beta and m3 is equal to m4 is equal to alpha minus I beta. In this case, the complete solution is obtained as y is equal to e raised to alpha x into bracket c1x plus c2 cos beta x plus c3x plus c4 sin beta x bracket complete plus c5 e raised to m5x plus and so on plus cn e raised to mnx. So these are the four important rules to find out the complementary function of the given equation. Now While finding the complementary function, we need some formulae. So you have to remember the following formulas. Already you have studied this, just I recall here. So first one, d square minus a square is equal to d minus a into d plus a. Here I am writing the formulas in terms of d. So you please note this because we are going to use this formula as it is while solving the examples. Again, d square plus a square is equal to d plus ia into d minus ia. Then the root of quadratic equations, that is a d square plus bd plus c is equal to capital D is equal to minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. This is well known formula. D cube minus a cube is equal to d minus a into bracket d square plus ad plus a square. Similarly, d cube plus a cube is equal to in bracket d plus a into d square minus ad plus a square. For the equation of the type ad cube plus bd square plus cd plus d equal to 0, where a, b, c, d are constants, that is, for the cubic equation, we have to use synthetic division method. I will explain this synthetic division method at the time of example. Then d raised to 4 minus a raised to 4 can be written as d square minus a square into d square plus a square. And again, we use the formula 1 to write d square minus a square and d square plus a square. So we get d minus a into d plus a into d minus ia into d plus ia. To solve d square plus a raised to 4 equal to 0, add and subtract 2a square d square. Then by 1 we will get d square plus a square bracket square is equal to minus 2a square d square is equal to 0. And this implies d square plus root twice ad plus a square into d square minus square root of 2ad plus d square equal to 0. And the roots of these quadratic equations can be found by using formula 2, that is quadratic formula. So in the next video, we will discuss rules to find particular integral when the RHS is exponential function, that is capital X is equal to e raised to ax, and we will discuss some examples. For more videos, please subscribe my YouTube channel Desai's GATE Engineering Mathematics. Thanks for watching. Bye.